Okay, as most people know who are watching this channel for Genshin Impact, I'm interested in Honkai Star Rail. If you haven't met me before, I am Salvi B, and today we're going to check out this video from Gacha Gamer. Should Genshin players bother with Honkai Star Rail gameplay? I'm not exactly, I wouldn't call myself I guess I could call myself a Genshin player, but I'm newer to Genshin Impact. I'm learning, I'm playing slowly, I'm playing at my own pace. That's how I want to play. I want to play my own pace. So when it comes to Honkai Star Rail, I'm extremely excited for it. And let's get into the video. Okay. I mean, obviously,
so we spent about 40 hours playing Honkai Star Rail.
Let's see what he's got.
Here are my thoughts so far. And you're probably wondering the first thing that comes to your mind. Is it worth checking it out if you're a Genshin player?
Yes.
Or does it have a better endgame than Genshin?
It's always worth trying out a game. Like, I don't see, like, it's trying. It's like Blockbuster if you're my age and you want to try a game and you rent it for a couple days. Just try the game out. Well, you have nothing to lose by trying it.
Honestly, if you're going to be playing Honkai Star Rail alongside Genshin, and assuming you're only playing it casually, which means not logging in every day, and you're not trying to min-max everything, then yeah, Honkai Star Rail is a pretty good game to play alongside Genshin. Like, to me, the biggest draw to this game would be the immersion, the storytelling, and the characters. Now, as for the endgame, I already experienced the game's daily loop. I also believe I completed most of the weekly activities, and from...
I just want to say I'm so disappointed that I did not get into that game's beta. I'm so upset about that. I really wanted in on the beta, and not being in on it makes me feel like I was missing out. I did watch a lot of people play on on Twitch, and it looks fun. It looks fun. It's definitely something I'm interested in. I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be a sick game.
What I can tell, Honkai Star Rail is probably going to be following the same pattern as Genshin, which means releasing a lot of different events that you can participate in as one of the endgame activities you can do. But ultimately, I think Honkai Star Rail will end up eating more of your time than Genshin if you're going to be playing it daily. However, there is a twist how we can play this game on autopilot, and maybe once I get to the real endgame,
it's got autopilot?
Like maxing out your characters, and everyone becomes super powerful over time, then the time to farm up the materials daily will probably be reduced as well. But I'll explain all of this later in the video.
Yeah.
For now, let me just show you some great and not so great things about the game as
well.
well.
Glitching.
Also, just to be clear,
I didn't notice that.
This is the final closed beta footage I'll be showing. The game is coming out very soon, so I don't think major revisions.
Put in the comments, do you think it comes out March 7th? Yes or no? In the comments, March 7th, or put whatever date you think it's coming out. I've seen March 7th. I know that the App Store was saying April 23rd or something like that. I'll look it up real quick. The App Store was definitely saying, I want to say, hold on. I want to say it was saying, oh, come on. One second. Honkai Star Rail. The App Store is currently saying April 26th. I think it's going to come out, I don't know, March 7th or April 26th.
Revisions will be made to the game, but keep in mind what I'm talking about here might not be the final product. Also, I won't be spoiling the story here, but all I can say right now is that it's really good. So, Honkai Star Rail's combat is turn-based. You can explore the levels by moving around with the character, and you will see enemies roaming in the area. And the way the combat starts is either the enemy ambushes you, which will rarely happen unless you're doing something wrong, or you will just attack the enemy by yourself. Now, the combat is really simple. Each character has a basic attack and a skill. You can always use a basic attack, but to use a skill you need to spend 1 point, you can see here, and you will obtain these points by using the basic attack. Everyone shares these points, it's not character specific, so basically you need to find a good balance between...
Right there's the strategy, is the balance of using your basic versus your super move or your special move, your special. I think it's an awesome idea to do it that way. You know, as I'm playing Genshin and I'm enjoying it and I'm getting around and I'm doing things, I think it's really awesome to see another game with the same graphical style. I mean, it's obviously different in theme, but the graphics are just so dope, and I like that it's turn-based. I think turn-based is going to make for a lot of great conversations with chat during my live streams, which happen right here on YouTube. And I think it's a really good thing to say that you should probably subscribe to the channel to watch me play these live streams and watch more videos just like this one here.
Between using basic attacks and skills,
because we read
like
we read the comments at the end of the videos, the comments that people leave. Yeah, that's true. That happens.
attack, or the character could also have a unique mechanic. Like for example, they do follow-up attacks after a certain trigger. But the coolest thing each character has is a burst. Just like in Genshin, you first need to gather the energy, but what's really unique about using the burst is that once it's available, you can use it anytime you want.
Oh,
like
that's
for
sick.
example, there's gonna be a bunch of enemies activating in a sequence right now, and I could just activate this burst, and it will be inserted in the middle of the chain. So there's a lot of cool planning you can do with this. Now,
I love
the
that.
game does have an elemental system, but you won't be creating any reactions. Instead, each enemy has a toughness, which is this white bar, and the only way to reduce it is by using the character's matching element symbol you can see above the bar. For example, you can reduce this enemy's toughness by using physical or lightning attacks. Now, why would you want to reduce the enemy's toughness? Well, when the bar is completely depleted, the character who reduces it to 0 will inflict a toughness break, and two things will happen. First of all, a huge amount of damage will be dealt when the toughness is broken.
I like that toughness
and then,
break.
depending on which element inflicted the toughness break, there will be a status effect applied to the enemy. For example, physical attack break will inflict...
See, I like the differentiation there between Honkai Star Rail and Genshin, how there's no reactions, but there's a different mechanism in the game. That's pretty sick.
Ice attack break will inflict frozen state, and so on. The game places a huge emphasis on breaking the enemy's toughness, so eventually you will want to build a character from each element, but so far I found that most of the enemies have 2 or 3 elements they're susceptible to, and I've been able to breeze through the game by using just 3 elements. Also, you can actually use the character's attack to reduce the enemy's toughness when initiating the fight, provided the character's element matches the enemy's weakness. Oh, and one cool thing about each character is that they have these things called techniques. Basically, it's an ability that you can use before starting the fights. For example, the main character can heal the party, some characters can boost the party's attack, others have special ways to initiate the fight and apply more damage or more status effects.
So cool.
So it's a pretty useful system when you want to get a little edge in your fights. But that's basically combat in a nutshell. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the turn-based combat.
All right.
From Genshin into Honkai Star...
It's going to be a big change between Genshin and Honkai Star Rail with the terms of battling.
Rail, I'm not gonna lie, the game feels really slow, especially when I'm trying to farm up some materials, because believe me, there's gonna be lots of things you'll need to acquire just to level up your character.
Okay.
Now on the bright side, you can enable a speed up animations, so everything in the game starts happening really fast, as you probably already saw from the footage I've been showing, and also you can enable auto combat, so the game actually plays for you and does all the moves.
That there is a huge time saver. Will be awesome to see for combat. Will obviously not be optimal, right? You're not going to optimize damage with autoplay. Autoplay is just kind of going through a gameplay loop, but I think it's going to be great for the sense of playing with everybody in chat while me talking to everybody while the game is playing. I think this is going to be awesome for a lot of interactivity between chat and the live streamer is going to be awesome to see. And that usually is the case with turn-based games.
Now, harder encounters like elite fights or boss fights, this option to use auto battle will be disabled, but when I need to just farm some materials for my characters,
good. Boss battles not on auto.
Have it, so I can focus on more important priorities in my life.
Like
but,
chat.
You know, auto combat isn't for everyone. Like, if the game already plays for you, then what's the point playing it, right? I mean, auto combat in gacha games isn't anything new. As much as we like to make fun of Raid Shadow Legends, it also has auto combat. To me, this is a necessary evil to have, because the daily gameplay loop in Honkai Star Rail is actually kind of long. Actually, I think it's now the time we talk about the daily, weekly,
Let's see what the daily play loop is.
First of all, this game also has a resin system. Here, it's called Trailblaze Power, and you get a little bit more of it, which is 180 instead of 160 in Genshin, and you can spend it in 5 different ways. The first 2 ways are basically the same as Genshin's ley lines, but in addition to farming money and character experience books, you can also obtain experience for weapons, which are called light cones in this game, and you can also farm for character talent materials. Each single run costs 10 points, but in a single fight you can have 6 runs. So I can pay 60 resin and then just put the game on auto combat and wait until it finishes.
That's good.
Then there's Caverns of Corrosion, where you can farm relics, and relics in this game are the equivalent to artifacts in Genshin. Then there's Echoes of War. This is the equivalent of weekly boss fights, and one cool thing I like about it is that you can only do it only 3 times, but you can actually decide to do the same boss all 3 times, which means you can get multiple of the same drops for that week. Finally, the last way how we can spend the Trailblaze Power, or resin, is by doing the Simulated Universe. Now, this is like a special roguelike mode, and it's actually going to be one of the main weekly activities you'll be doing.
Oh, that's cool.
There is a weekly cap of points you can acquire.
They're experimenting with the roguelike element of gameplay and that's awesome because we know that's pretty much what Zenless Zone Zero is probably going to be.
And maxing out the weekly points is going to be
the other
important
Hoyo
because
game.
The last reward is actually called Tracks of Destiny, which is an advanced material required to level up your character talents. Now, you actually don't spend points to enter the simulated universe. Instead, whenever you finish a fight with an elite enemy, you'll be able to open this treasure, and it requires you to spend Trailblaze power. Now, what you're getting from this treasure is called planar ornaments. These items are like accessories, but it's more like a separate 2-set artifact. So yeah, in addition to having regular 4-set artifacts, you will also need to complete this weekly activity, spend your resin, and obtain 2-set artifact accessory pieces, I guess you would call it. I'm not a huge fan of this, because this just introduces more randomization into my life. Like in Genshin, it's already painful enough when I spend resin and I get really terrible artifacts. Now in Honkai Star Rail, I need to worry about a separate 2-set artifact system. I mean, I don't know. On the flip side,
I can see the worry there about like, am I doing this all for nothing? That's definitely a legitimate concern. And that's going to be up to Hoyo to make sure that they keep players happy.
I see that it drops a lot of these artifacts when I use the resin, but you have to enter the simulated universe, fight through a couple of floors until you encounter the elite enemy, defeat it, and then finally claim the treasure chest. Like, I've been optimizing this party of 4 characters for the past 40 hours, and it still takes me quite a while to just get through the floors. Maybe when we get to the max level and all the characters are fine-tuned, it will take less time to clear the simulated universe.
I wonder how much time it took.
Now, it just takes a bit too long for me. Still, this is just a weekly activity. You don't have to do this each day, but you will need to work towards it over the week. Finally, for the endgame, as I said before, it looks like Honkai Star Rail, just like any other gacha game, will have a lot of events, but in addition, there's also the Forgotten Hole, which is the equivalent to the Abyss in Genshin. Now, I would say that Simulated Universe also qualifies as an endgame activity.
That's cool.
Because so far, I am at World 3, and there are a total of 6 worlds, and I'm not sure if it gets more difficult or additional
That's
content
5 worlds. He
gets
said
unlocked when we
6.
reach
I don't
World
understand.
6, so I'll have to see for myself once
I guess
I
there's
reach the
6.
max level. But as you can see, the progression system is almost identical to Genshin's. You've got ley lines, artifact domains, weekly boss fights, and as I'm editing this video, I think there's also something called Stagnant Shadow, where you also farm for the character ascension materials. So that's another way how you need to
it's
spend your
Genshin, but a
power.
turn-based Genshin.
Just as I mentioned in the beginning,
that's cool.
Right now, Honkai Star Rail's daily gameplay loop feels longer than Genshin's. Like when I log into Genshin, I just do the commissions and then blow my resin on either domains or some materials I need to acquire for that day. Here in Honkai Star Rail, first of all, you need to spend all the resin, then you need to work towards the simulated universe weekly points, which I guess you could do it in one sitting once per week. But
they're trying to keep people in the game. It's a new game. They want people interested.
I think I only been getting 1, so that's a plus. But there's also this thing called daily training, which I mean, yeah, it doesn't take long. It randomizes like 5 different daily missions for you for that day. Most of these missions can be completed as you're just progressing through your daily loop, so I guess it's not that big of a deal.
That's cool.
Now, I haven't really talked about it, but there's also the gacha system here. I cannot fully confirm it, but the rates seem to be almost identical to Genshin's when it comes to the character gacha.
Why fix what's not broken? Make it the Genshin. If anything, make it better. Don't make it worse when it comes to the gacha system.
While for the light cones, which are the equivalent to weapons, it does seem to have a bit of a different appearance rate, since this light cone right here is the only one featured on the banner. Now, the animation gacha looks really cool, and the first 5-star I unlocked was Brania, and it looked amazing, but I mean, it's a gacha game, right? So if you enjoy these kinds of systems, then yeah, you'll get a lot of dopamine rush here. Actually, now that I'm editing the video, I discovered 2 major things. First of all, you could actually claim 5-star light cones from the shop, which would be the equivalent of having a 5-star weapon shop in Genshin. You will need to spend Undying Starlight, which is the currency you obtain from using summons. So in a way, if you do a lot of summons and you don't get any 5-star light cone, you can use this currency and claim one of them.
That's cool.
Now the second big thing is that there's an actual 5-star character selector. From what I understand, this can only be done once on your account, and you will need to do 300 standard banner wishes. And afterwards, you'll be able to select one of the 5-star
free character.
You see here. Honestly,
that's awesome.
300 summons is a bit too much, but eventually you will be able to select 5-star character for free. So in a way, I guess Hoiverse finally caved in and gave us a 5-star selector, just not in Genshin Impact. Overall, after spending 40 hours playing this game almost non-stop, my thought so far is that I really like Honkai Star Rail, but I still think the game could be much better with some improvements. Like, Hoiverse are insanely good at creating immersion for their games. When I was playing this game, every single soundtrack was amazing. Even though this is not an open world game, the map design and the secrets and the many enemies I encountered were interesting.
Oh man,
there's
I'm gonna get lost in this game. I could tell you now.
For example, there's this whole hidden quest line you could call.
I'm already lost in Genshin having fun.
Trash cans, but they have so much charm and quirky dialogue in them. And most of the side quests were also really interesting. Like when I'm playing this game, I can feel part of the world. And that's, in my opinion, one of the best feelings to have when
that
you're
is a
playing
good
something.
feeling. When any developer can get you to feel like you are part of a world and make you, you know, kind of invested into wanting to know more about that world, oh, game over. That's total victory. Total victory. And that's what Hoyo is a master at.
It feels kind of a shame that this game is turn-based, because when I'm playing it and exploring all the stuff,
yeah, but it has to be turn-based, because why wouldn't you want it to, like, you don't want the same gameplay of Genshin, then just put all these characters in Genshin and make it a new universe in Genshin, put them in outer space.
it feels like a fully fledged JRPG, and most of the JRPG developers have moved away from turn-based combat. Like, they already have perfected the action RPG elements of Honkai and Genshin. Maybe they could have come up with some kind of real-time strategy combat, I don't know. But for now, the saving grace is the burst system, where you can use the burst anytime you want, so the turn-based combat feels more flexible. But on the other hand, the toughness system doesn't really blow my mind. It's just not super intriguing to me. And I also feel like it kind of limits team building options as well. Probably too soon to talk about this because I didn't really experience all the characters and team synergies. But to me, the turn-based combat is the least interesting thing about this game. Also, I really don't like the way they develop character talents. Basically, they are called traces in this game. And on the first look, you might think, wow, that's a character talent tree. Well, not really. Most of these small nodes right here, they're just boring stat increases. However, there are some interesting upgrades you can unlock for characters, but it's not something that you choose to unlock. All of this will be unlocked eventually. Think
so
about
it takes time.
Trace passive abilities to unlock for characters to be the same as passive talents you unlock for characters in Genshin. Oh, and if you've been wondering, yeah, each character also has constellations, and in this game, they're called Eidolons. But yeah, if you're a Genshin player, you will notice a lot of similarities Honkai Star Rail has to Genshin. From the menu layouts, to the daily activities, to even some of the character designs. But who knows, Hoyoverse games are connected.
Oh, it looks like Wanderer, doesn't it?
Maybe there's a reason why Dan Hong looks like Zhongli.
Oh, the face looks like Zhongli, the clothes look like Wanderer.
It's been a while since I played a really good JRPG like this one, but at the same time, I cannot turn a blind eye to some of the things that I dislike. Still, after experiencing almost all of the game's systems, as someone who plays Genshin daily, I would recommend checking this game out, but if you don't have a lot of time you can spend, then you should play this game casually. Don't worry too much about spending the resin and completing the weekly activities, because the best part about this game is the world, the characters, and the immersion. But for now, I'd really appreciate if you could just press the like button on the video and subscribe.
All right, that's enough. I'm excited. I mean, I know the younger generation, the turn-based combat is going to be the hard sell, right? That's the hard sell for everybody. It's, do I want to play this game with turn-based combat? Now, I'm an old school. I used to play RPGs back in the day when they were all pretty much turn-based. So to me, the Super Nintendo, to me that's normal. So like, I know what they're saying. I understand that people are like, oh, kind of like scared for it, but I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. I think it's cool. That said, let's get into some comments. So I did a video the other day, just doing some more miscellany reactions, and so it seems to be that's where a lot of our comments are coming from right now, actually. So we'll get into it. From Aldi Haldi K. Okay. Hey, I noticed that you're trying to learn more about each character operates, and you don't seem interested in some of the better characters like Hotao. Oh, really? Clearly, you haven't watched my Nahida video. May I suggest you view build guides on Hotao, Ganyu, and Zhao at your own time. Ziox, Braxophone, Slice are great. Okay, so that's other creators. They can better explain why the characters are great and how they truly operate. You can also learn which characters are truly worth building to your interest in numbers and meta. I personally like to main Zhao, Hotao, Ayaka, Raiden, and Alhaitham. I like Alhaitham a lot. They're all pretty powerful characters to me, and to most of the fan base as well. Try to look into them more so you can learn better about them. This isn't something against you, but always something to learn, right? Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's cool. I'm down for it. Hotao is great in my opinion. Easy to build, big damage, fun playstyle, cool character story. I shared some vids in the Discord. Oh yes, that's right. We have a Discord. Thank you, Roji. We do have a Discord, and it is awesome. Thanks for Holland. Thanks for your comment. It's featured in the upcoming Genshin versus Genshin Impact versus Honkai. Oh, Honkai Star Rail video. All right, cool. Awesome. No, thank you, Rosie. Appreciate it. I love when you guys leave comments and stuff like that and give me your thoughts. It's awesome. That's why I do this. That's why I read these comments at the end of every video. From Jonathan Robinson, Albedo is very good. Has very good battery, and his skill can hit very hard with multiple enemies. Essentially, all fights become two character fighting at the same time. You and his flower. That's awesome. That's actually not. See, I wish they could explain things like that, but that's pretty cool because it makes sense that the flower is fighting with you and drawing enemies. So that's cool. From Delga, look at her. Here she is. She's the best pyro hyper carry. Oh, that's Hatao. Yeah, no, that's a little short that I put together the other day. From Vinvin, knockback. Oh, I was talking about knockback and how I like knockback. A knockback isn't always good. For example, Dilute Burst makes him follow up attack and a bit difficult because it pushes enemies far away. Well, you have to build a knockback team, obviously. Something that can reach in the knockbacks. Somebody with a projectile that can reach from the knockback. Also, as I'm sure many of the comments have told you, the collected miscellanies aren't a good place to know the good character's damage. Fair. Just shows you how their stuff works, so any damage you see won't really matter. By the way, no offense at all, but I feel like you judge way too early based off the looks and impressions. Well, I mean, it is a first impression. That's Vinvin. So that's a good, I mean, I've heard that before. I'm giving you my first impression. My first impression doesn't mean it's my last impression, doesn't mean it's my final impression. My first impression is based off of looks and what I see. So that's pretty much all first impressions. It's always based on looks, right? I think all first impressions are based on looks. From Dr. Redacted, again, good luck with a team of 4 DPS. Gotten you weak, huh? I didn't say, I said they look weak. That doesn't mean that they are weak. It's just based off of the collected miscellany. Crazy Dave, a normal and frequent commenter with novels. Characters with good off-field abilities are usually the best ones. For example, Ching Chi, right? Is it Xing Chi? I think it was Xing Qi. I don't know. Is arguably the best character in the game, not for being an on-field damage dealer, but for his off-the-field hydro damage and his ability, his absolutely ludicrous damage. Fair. That's fair. That's totally fair. Officials are great. Great electro character. I just got a text message. Officials are really great electro sub DPS dendro teams. The on the field characters are replaceable. Off the field characters each do unique things and are irreplaceable. Very valuable for teams. This game is all about supports doing what they're supposed to do off the field and off the field things. Well, yeah, I've definitely seen that. And I feel like this is more the Hyper Bloom. Nahida is generally used as an off the field sub DPS. Yes. Okay. So I get it. It's not all about the damage that they give. It's all about the damage that they could boost and impact and assist. So I get it. Like, characters need assisting. I think that's something that I do understand. Again, these are just they're just my initial thoughts when I watch a video about a character, right? No harm, no foul. Is Alan Beta worth getting? The rest, no. That's from Disco Cop. Redacted says false. Walnut would like to have a word. That's pretty funny. I mean, I love that you guys are all commenting and kind of just helping me out. Channel stopped growing. Sorry, what does that mean? Let's see. Channel stopped growing. It'll continue. It takes time. It takes time. It does take time. So, like, okay. So, like, if we were gonna wrap with this comment, that's not a bad comment there, Ashitaro. The channel didn't stop. Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have peaks and valleys, and we're in a valley right now. So the channel started ascending and then it's peaking. It's gonna happen. Videos, it's all about getting people's attention to watch the videos, right? And I think that I'm gonna try my best to continue to grow the channel, obviously, and I need more people to see it. Comes down to algorithm. Who is YouTube going to show the video to? If you show the video to a lot of people, then obviously I'm going to get more people watching and subscribing. It's the law of averages. More people need to see what's going on. How How many pity from Patrick? I can't recall. I can't recall on that answer. My Hatao can charge attack for up to 100k. Of course, this depends on my supports. That makes sense. That's pretty dope, actually. You could do that, Patrick. Hey, yo, hold up. Here's the thing. Miscellany really isn't a good place to draw a conclusion. It's not conclusions. It's not conclusions. So I'm not saying that you should only say nice things about them. Just don't judge them immediately from what you see in the videos. That makes sense. What I'm saying is, when it comes to that, it's first impression. It's a first impression video. It's a first impression video. It's a first impression video. I'm just making my first impressions on characters. That's all it is. Like, miscellanies are explaining the characters from the start, from the jump. I mean, you're equipped with knowledge that comes from years of the character being out, months, whatever the case. I'm equipped with no knowledge, which I feel allows me to give a true opinion, and that's why I think it's good to give true opinion based off of not knowing much, because then you get a different perspective, a new perspective. From Fred Skinner, this is why you need an archer. The boards can get close. Facts. Yeah, no, I mean, that's gonna happen. I got into as a live video that became a live video that I kind of kept on demand. Super excited because the whole space theme, don't even mind that it's turn-based combat. That's what I'm saying. So this is from Lop 90 full 1. I agree. It's okay. It's just gonna be a cool game. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be more chill. I'm okay with cool and chill games. As much as I want to play Honkai Star Rail, I can't. I only have one gacha game, and that is Genshin. Ryder, that's fine. Ryder M, that's fine. I mean, everybody's gonna pick what they want and play a game or not play a game based off of their budget, maybe. Who knows? Games look interesting, not gonna lie. That's some Shinobi EV gaming and anime. Yeah, it's gonna be a sick game. I have a good feeling about Honkai Star Rail. It looks amazing, but I cannot play another gacha game. Genshin is legit enough. That's from Kevin. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, right? So a lot of people, it's actually kind of funny. A lot of people are worried that they don't have the time to play the game. They don't have the ability. They don't want to play more gacha games. Genshin is enough. When it comes to Genshin Impact versus Honkai Star Rail, you don't have to spend a lot of money to play a game, to try a game. That's a choice. Spending money is a choice. You don't owe these gacha games anything. It's just a choice. And you can play Genshin Impact completely free. I think I've only spent like max $200 on Genshin, and in the short time that I played it. I won't be spending more on it. There's not really any characters I truly want. I just want to play the game and experience it. I think that's what allows my channel to be more relatable to people, actually, that I don't spend a lot of money, that I'm not a whale, and I won't be whaling. I just want to play a game and have fun. So yeah, I mean, I will be playing this and that, and Hegan Aruthiel comes out soon too, and I'll be playing that. I don't have to spend whale amounts of money in order to have fun in a game or progress. I want to make content, and that's what I'm there for. So everybody has their own reason to play a game. I'm enjoying Genshin. I'm enjoying making content for it. You know, building a community, which would be talking right over there if I was live right now. That's why that's there. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for today. The video is coming to a conclusion. I read the comments. Honkai Star Rail versus Genshin Impact. Should you play it? I think you should. I think you should always give it a shot. All I got for today.